Everybody, welcome in to viewer comments here Wednesday night. We do them every Wednesday night. And once again, the talk still is on who should be the next head coach. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I'm about sick of talking about it. We've been talking about it since Pittman's been out. Hell, a lot of people have been talking about it before he was out as the head coach. But once again, it's to the point now where I've done as much research as I could on all the coaches. I try to figure out where the rumors are. I heard today that the decision has already been made. It's just a matter of time about them deciding to tell everyone about it. At least that's what I heard. Do I know if it's true or not? Who knows? And so once again, I'm very curious to see what our viewers think once again. So please, I am very curious to see what is your pitch and convince me on who the next head coach should be. And I want more than just Bobby Petrino, James Franklin. I want more than just Alex Golish or Ryan Silverfield. I want to know why. All right, convince me what's going to be good for them to come over here and do some good things here at the University of Arkansas. Once again, be a part of the show. What is this? Even DJ. Clear this up for us, playa. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Barry. Once again, welcome in, everybody. If you're just now joining us, if you want to be a part of the show, all you have to do is shoot me your email, and we can make that happen. All right? We can join you in right next to me. Put you in a little 2-box, get your little video going. If you don't want to do a video, that's fine. We can hear the audio and go from there. Y'all are watching 4th and 5, where every Wednesday night we hop on and do viewer comments. And I would love to talk about something else than the coaching search. It's just tough, very tough, but it's just all what we talk about. Did I see the Brandon Walker tweet last night? Brandon Walker. What did Brandon Walker say? Okay. Brandon Walker. Is he the person who said that it's pretty much a done deal? They're just waiting to. Brandon Walker, Arkansas coach. Let me look it up real quick. Coach? What are you calling me for right now? Lane Kiffin, Arkansas. Lane Kiffin, Arkansas. Is this what you're talking about? You talking about Brandon Walker, talking about Lane Kiffin coming to Arkansas? Okay. Wouldn't be too mad about that. Not gonna lie. I'm not sure. Timothy, let me know what you're talking about, okay? Lorenzo is in the house saying Mike Singletary, call him. I don't have his number, so I can't go ahead and give that phone call. Also, too, I want to know, what does everybody think about the upcoming basketball season? It's here. The basketball season this year for the Razorbacks. Options. Will they make the tournament? Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. How far do you think this team will go? Leave that in our comment section as well. But once again, I want y'all to convince me on who the next head coach for Arkansas will be. This will be a short viewer comment tonight. Got some plans here this evening, but I always want to make sure we have the opportunity to come in here and hang out. Bye week, man, it just drags, man. They just drag on so long. But we're here, making it through. 3 games left in the year. Heading down to good old Baton Rouge. I actually think Arkansas has a really good opportunity to win this football game. I really do. I think LSU's in shambles right now. Here we go. Not sure. He just put out a tweet that said, "Oh my goodness, Arkansas football. Wow is all I can say. That would be impressive." I feel like he is someone who knows a few things. He's in the know. Wow, Arkansas football. That would be impressive. I feel like the only names that would be impressive for someone like him, James Franklin. I don't think he would think Petrino is impressive because he's already here. Lane Kiffin is just, God, I just don't see it for Lane. Yeah, he's just a guy from Barstool, which makes me think he has any insider info. That is a good point, because John Gruden does do a lot of stuff with them on there all the time. John Gruden. I mean, we've kind of laid off the John Gruden talk, but Coach Kelly comes on our show on the Buzz once a week, and he says that Gruden has expressed interest. He's been making the phone calls. Do y'all think that would work, John Gruden? Do you think John Gruden would be a good coach for the University of Arkansas? Let me know what you think about that. As you do that, I'll go ahead and take a look at Mark Douglas. History tells us we will always be fighting uphill against greater overall rosters. We need to strike gold on talent evaluation. Agreed. And develop lesser known players. My pick, Eric Morris over there at North Texas. He's had a good track record with quarterbacks. He had Patrick Mahomes. He has the guy now who's doing really well, and he had another one as well. My thing is, we've got a pretty good guy who's done a good thing or two with college quarterbacks and Coach Petrino. Ryan Mallett, you know what he did. Tyler Wilson, Lamar Jackson. So he's had a really good track record of, developing some really good quarterbacks. I would say the same thing for Eric Morris as well. I think we should cut all this nonsense about fancy coaches and let Coach Pete get the job. Pastor Bill is in the house. Timothy on John Gruden. I think it'd be a risky move to hire him. You can get this hire wrong. You can't get it wrong, especially because everyone is worried about what will come after 2030. Timothy, I need to have you on staff here at 4th and 5. What's going on in 2030? You're in the know. John Gruden. I mean, would he come here without a ironclad contract? Because he knows the uphill battle. Does he want to go through all that? Because I feel like he would be someone that's going to want a lot of money, one, and he's going to have a contingency plan for some job security and a really big buyout. Would the fan base be okay with that? I guess we'll see. I just know, like, the NFL coach, I know he coached in college too. God, I just don't see him having the patience for all this stuff. Takes a different kind of coach nowadays to coach college football, man. Patience is on a different level. Timothy K, like I said, I need you to give me more information. We got Gunner 4 who says, I don't think Franklin is the fit. Don't tell me it's him, DJ. I don't know. I'm asking y'all to convince me. I honestly don't have an ounce of an idea of who the next head coach is going to be. I know a lot of people who do podcasts and they have their sources and they really dig. I'm not really too interested in getting into the weeds with that stuff. I'm a little bit more interested in what we do best here at 4th and 5 is see what's out there and give an opinion on that and really breaking down game film. Now, whoever the coach is, we'll do our part going back on track record, taking a look at some of the games that they've had. Good coaching decisions, questionable coaching decisions, how they choose to build a program. And like I said, we don't even know if it's not Coach P yet. And if it is Coach P, we know him very, very well. So, yeah, we just don't know. Here we go. I heard John Neighbors talking about the hypothetical super conferences to come in 2030. And I think the TV deal is up. I don't know. You know what I said? It's just 2030 is when grant for rights for ACC is up. Many believe it will be picked apart or the Super League happens. I mean, with the way that the portal's going, you got teams all across the place. It'd be very hard to convince the the SEC to switch up what they have going on because the SEC makes so much money. And yes, anybody would want to be a part of it. But then if you do that, then you essentially turn it into a NFL type league where you start having, divisions and build a playoff like that. It would literally turn into NFL if that were the case, if you're asking me. Super League. It's wild, man. Do y'all like that? Would you like the college football to be kind of built like that, or do you like the way that it was with the conferences that were usually regionally based, not a team on the East Coast in the same conference as a team on the West Coast? Or is that what you prefer, or do you like the idea of more NFL style type thing? I don't know. More teams, more money. You're right. What it would be to be reaping some money off of that. Programs' expectations need to be lowered. Arkansas is like 12th in line for a new coach. That's what I'm saying. Like, if John Gruden was going to go anywhere and coach college football, is Arkansas at the top of his list? Or would he say, "What's going on, LSU? What's going on, Florida? What's going on? Who else? Name them off. There's like 10 vacancies open. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State opens. Wouldn't be surprised if Clemson opens. Just pick your pick. I'd be very interested to see what happens there. SEC wants Virginia and North Carolina, not a super league. Interesting. 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 Oh man, Timothy K, man, you're bringing some good juice, man. You want to hop on the show, or you just kind of like sitting back, chilling? Petrino did recruit Marcel Reed, I believe, while he was at Texas A&M. I think that sounds about right. Here we go. Timothy, you might as well hop on. Send me your email if you want to hop on. Timothy says the realignment is a bit outrageous in my opinion. And the 12-team playoff is great, but got to get rid of the. You got to get rid of these auto. Y'all, listen to this. So right now, this auto bid stuff is getting out of hand. I don't want to see USF get waxed round one. If South Florida gets into this thing, I think they are just outside of the top 25, if not right on it. You can't do that. Surely this committee will say, "All right, let's keep it a buck here." All right. Unless that team is undefeated or maybe a tough one loss, and I don't know, man. But yeah, Timothy, I'm with you, man. That's the last thing we're trying to see, especially when you know for a fact that there is a handful of teams that are more deserving and better than a team that's potentially not ranked in the top 25. Yeah, these automatic bids, they got to be done with them. Got to be done with them. I'm with you. Yeah, will open as like no, Timothy. This is the first thing you've said wrong all day. University of South Florida will open up as a 28-point dog. I mean, we already saw this happen last year. I mean, there is so much separation from the top tier and the rest of college football. And you had these teams get in here, SMU, Boise, even Indiana last year. They went into the Clemson. I mean, they went into the first round, just got smacked. Different ball game. SEC wants automatic bids gone. Agree, and I understand why if you're the SEC. There is a chance the ACC loses its auto bid. Wow. If they are ranked higher than two different G5 conference members. Interesting. I would agree with that too. I think, yeah, whoever is in from the ACC right now needs to win out the rest of their games, period. If they have one more loss, I think Georgia Tech is still undefeated. They could potentially get in if they slip up on their way out and win the ACC championship. But even if they so what happened last year with the ACC? God, I hope it didn't happen this year. SMU undefeated, and they lose in the ACC championship to a three-loss team in Clemson. But the ACC had that automatic bid for the winner, and they let SMU in. It was a joke. When you know for a fact you had more SEC teams that would have been better than both of them. What are we doing? Who runs these things? What are we doing? Y'all are bringing that fire tonight. Appreciate the comments, everybody. Once again, if you want to be a part of the show, all you have to do is let me know that email. And if you've tried to send me an email and I haven't said anything about it, give me a heads up because depending on how you put it in here, it pops up in my thread or not. Timothy K, back at it. I'll take whoever to cover. Agreed. Imagine a night game in Oxford against Ole Miss, and are you kidding me? It is over. And that's the thing, too. Ole Miss not getting in last year. Are you kidding me? They sat there and collectively thought that Ole Miss team was not as good as SMU and Clemson was a joke. We also think, too, they may do this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they changed this, but they're reseeding once the playoff teams are set. And so as soon as they agree on the 12, then they re-rank them in order. And that's who's determines to get the first round bye, home field advantage, and stuff like that. Because even last year, the Boise getting a home field game, first round, what are we doing? What are we doing? If the ACC loses their bid, then Arkansas can get John Gruden. I don't know what you're trying to say. What does that mean? Leslie say, what's up with the Lincoln Riley rumors? I don't know, y'all. I mean, I've lost I tried to keep up, and I actually was interested in the coaching church. Oh, I'm struggling saying that, but this right here, what's happening with the rumors? I've heard so many rumors, so many people so sure on this. People saying I got a guy who said this. Y'all don't know nothing. And the thing about it is, this is what's going to happen. Out of all the people who do this, have these podcasts or have, they're on TV, media outlets and stuff, one of them's going to be right. And then we're not going to hear about it, the end of it, for the rest until that coach is gone. And everyone else is going to be like, well, my source said this. Well, my source said this. But the one who got it right, oh, man, they're going to live on that hill for a long time. It's just, who is it? So out of all the people who do this, let's see. I know John Neighbors probably has said, I got a guy who said this is who it's going to be. Trey Biddy's probably said it. Who am I missing? I mean, we can get on, traditional media outlets. They've all spoke their piece too. But yeah, whoever comes out and who's right, man, that will. I bet it'll be a whole episode on it for sure. And I guess it should be. I guess I should say who I think it is. But should I say I have a source? I don't know. I have no idea. And the thing is, from at the Buzz, we have a lot of talking heads there, and we got some people, I would say, pretty connected. Wes Moore, I will say this: he was the first one who had an idea of what's going on with the Coach Cal hire, and he put it out before anybody, and he was spot on. All right, so Wes does have some contacts out there, so I'll give Wes that. And we were talking today that they feel like they have already decided who the guy is. Like the conversations have happened, the mind's been made up. Yeah. If that's the case, then I would assume that it's not Coach Petrino, right? I just don't know what the holdup is from telling everybody that. Here we go. Bryce Switzer. Honestly, at this point, I've lost interest and hate to say I really don't care. Bro, I'm with you, man. It's just been a lot, right? It's an everyday conversation. Not holding my breath for a win. Okay. Why? I want to have at least a winning season. Come on, give me a little something. John Matthews, what's up, brother? I saw your donation last week. You did it after we were live. Thank you so much for that $100 donation, man. That was awesome. Appreciate you. I think that was on Grant's episode of Let Grant Cook. That was big time, man. John says, I think the argument for Bobby is that he knows how to win in the SEC and already has here. He has something to prove. It's hard to judge him for what he was and was not handed. I agree. This year, I don't think it's a fair assessment at all, and that should not be taken into consideration based off what we've seen as far as what he's done in the win-loss record. I think this team has gotten better since he's taken over. I don't think anyone can argue that, even though we still haven't finished the game and won. My thing is, if they've already decided who the coach is going to be, and let's just say for argument's sake, Coach Petrino wins these last 3 games, oh man, they are going to deal with some tough feedback from the fan base. If Coach Petrino beats LSU on the road, beats Texas on the road, potentially playing spoiler for Texas playoff hopes, and then they beat Missouri at home, a team that we haven't beaten God knows how long, man. And if they don't give him the job after that, they're not going to hear that. Well, I guess if this next coach, whoever it is, comes in and does well, then be tough. Here goes Mr. Bloodline. I've noticed that the last couple Petrino pressers, he hasn't had any hog logo on his attire. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it means he knows. I mean, we could point at anything. I would have to go back and look and see how often that is a thing, because it could be nothing. Or, Mr. Bloodline, you're on to something. I like it. Chris Caver is in the house. Guys, this coaching search is far from over. It will come down to the wire at the very last minute. Highly doubt the Hogs have their man yet. P.S. Hire Bobby M. effing Petrino. That's what I'm saying, Chris. Like, if these rumors and all that, that's just so old. I'm so sick of it lately. But man, if like I said, Chris, are you with me though? If Petrino pulls out these 3 games and it looks like everybody's getting into the direction, and like I said, we got a potentially really good offensive line coming back, and they all say we want Coach Petrino to be our coach, and they say nah, we moving on, and then you lose all those. Oh my gosh, Chris, I know you'd be pissed. How would that make you feel, Chris? I'm very curious. Would you? You're a big time Razorback fan, but would you need a second to kind of be like, I don't like what's being done up top? All right. Especially if he wins out. Now, I'm not saying he will. Not very likely he will, but if he does, man, that'd be something. Pimp Juice. I remember Bobby saying there was unfinished business here in Arkansas. I remember him saying that too. Cameron Nash, here we go. I feel like everyone is missing the point. Let's hear it. We are missing the point respectfully. Okay. It's not the coaches, it's the players. Replace the players. The coach isn't out there, the players are. When you have a quarterback consistently throwing interceptions, you went on to say something. I can't. There we go. This coach isn't the problem, in my opinion. The coach isn't, but it's just my opinion. Cameron Nash. I'll say this to that point. Um, Now I can't even remember his name off. I think I'd have to think about it. A team that's doing really well. One last team, 9-1, probably going to win their conference, be a playoff team. Is Texas Tech. Okay, playing some really good football. We got one of the best defensive players in the country. Very efficient on offense. And somebody brought this point up the other day. I couldn't even tell you who their head coach was. It's not a big name at all. We had to look it up. I think it's Joe McGuire. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. But I would say most people on a national level would have a hard time picking that name out. And so that does go to show that usually when you talk about a team that's top ranked, probably going to have a really good opportunity to make it to the playoffs, and the way that that program has been moving in the right direction, people would normally say, man, that must be a great coach over there doing his thing. But the storyline about Texas Tech has been all about the former alumni, or the alumni, former players, and the billionaires, and how much money they are getting to pay players to go be a part of that program. Not just in football, basketball, softball. They paid a pitcher $1 million in softball. And so that's one thing to think about. So I'm not saying that the coach doesn't matter, but to Cameron's point, whoever it is, if you don't give him some substantial resources to compete in this conference, we're going to see a lot of what we've seen before. A coach does matter. And I think a coach can help facilitate that, be some good make sure you're spending your money and putting your money in the right spots. Maybe that's what we need to look at over there in Texas Tech. They're spending a lot of money, but apparently they're paying the right guys too. Need to watch some more tape on them. Brian said, I would be pissed. Chris Caver would be pissed as well, man, if Coach P wins out the rest of these games and they've already made their mind up about who the next coach could be. Wow. Are the players saying that they want Coach P to come back? I don't know. Let me ask. Let me see. Whose number do I have on the team? Maybe. Now, he knows I do this for a living, so I'd be very surprised if he tells me. But this is his last year. Maybe he'll tell me. All right. Let me put out the memo. I'll let you know what I come up with. Um, Here we go. Uh-oh. I'm very confused. What is the hype around BP? I understand this wasn't really his team that he recruited, but man, I don't get it. Now, Timothy, you're about to have everybody in this chat come get you, but I like it. Good, safe place here. Say what you say. Um, I mean, I mean, I'm not going to sit here in line and say that the dude can coach his ass off. We all know that. I have seen a different Coach Petrino develop ever since what happened when it comes to his approach to player relationship. I've seen multiple players on this team talk about, I love Coach P. That's my boy, Bobby, Bobby. Former players are like, what the hell is happening? And so, but I think as the game has evolved, the approach of the old school in your face, cuss you out, blah, 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 hurt your feelings, that has not promoted a good environment for players to stick around. Now, do I think it's a little soft? Yes. So I think that element, and I don't think if he is the head coach, one, you're going to get him at a cheaper price than anyone else with that type of resume. Okay. Um, the experience here, he has a lot of fan support already. Now, I do think it's hit or miss for some reason. It almost feels like 50-50. But I do really think the players are bought in and they really like his approach. I really do. And so I don't think it would be a bad hire by any means. I don't think anyone would think what a joke, or maybe that's just me living in 2010. Who knows? But I don't see it being a bad thing. Based off who else is on the table. The only obviously if you get somebody like if Lane Kiffin was like, I want to come coach at Arkansas, well, okay, we'd entertain that for sure. Nick Saban said, hell, honey, I'm going back into coaching. Boom, boom, boom. Like I said, it would be, but when you talk about all these kind of up and coming coaches, man, you're rolling the dice big time. And with as many vacancies that are open, I'm perfectly fine with, all right, Coach P, I'll give you a year. All right. You do your thing the way you want to do it. We're not going to give you a big buyout. You really want to be here, and I don't know how many other options you got to be a head coach right now. And you said you got unfinished business. What's a year look like? Then you have all these other vacancies kind of fill up, and you're not in such because Arkansas right now 2-7, and you know how it is here with our fan base. We will come get you. Um, I think if he gets the program to a place that's a little bit more attractive, then I think get a little you build a little bit more confidence for whoever the next guy is. Because I think he's 64. Does he want to coach till he's 70? I don't know. Maybe some do, some don't. Timothy, get on the show already. That's what I'm saying, Timothy. Bring it on. Let me get that email, man. Here we go. Da-da-da. The Fuzz Funk. Don't know what that means, but cool. Uh, well, do we advocate to at least try to keep Petrino as OC? I don't see that happening. Ooh, I don't know. I personally don't see that happening unless he really loves Northwest Arkansas and the Razorbacks. That's the only. If he stays and he doesn't get this job, and one, whoever the new regime is would have to be okay with it. If it's somebody like a Alex Golish, no, he's not going to do it. Somebody like a James Franklin, no. The only way that would happen is if you get a defensive coach in who wants somebody to worry about the offense. And I really haven't heard of a defensive coach who's been high on our radar lately. Here we go. To add to your point, Bobby hasn't had a Razorback gear on during his weekly press conference several times already. Thank you for the research. I thank you for that. Somebody was worried that he's not wearing stuff anymore. Is he letting us know he's already out? Here we go. He says, it won't be Petrino. He's 65. There are only 8 coaches in D1 who are 60 plus. Wow. Who are they? I don't know. That's a good point, though. Here we go. Dan Fickle. How'd you know I was going to ask Carmona? Did you see my screen? Got a reflection back there? Yeah, I'm going to ask Carmona. See what he says. Like I said, he does podcasting too, so he knows what I'm looking for. He probably won't tell me. He might. All right, here we go. Coach P is the only answer, Dan Fickle says. He wants to be here. He's a proven winner. Probably do it cheaper. He has SEC experience, and he gets the contracts to hire good coordinators and keep them. That's what he needs. That's what he needs. All right, here we go. I think a lot of people feel this way too. I feel like it's just an agenda pushed off nostalgia. I think a lot of people feel that way too. Chris Caver's in the house. I would be mad. I don't like the situation where he has to work a miracle to get the job. His plan and vision for the future are what should count. I agree. Like I said, it's just, I mean, if they already have their mind made up, why not say it already? Unless that coach is coaching somewhere right now and they got a shot to do something postseason, right? But if it's James Franklin, what's the holdup? He ain't got nothing going on. I mean, we announced Petrino was going to be here while we were still practicing and stuff. And, Coach Reggie Herring was practicing down there with us. Coach Nutt was already let go from the program, essentially walked away. I can't remember how that all went down. But yeah, Petrino was there watching us from above, but he couldn't talk to us yet because he was already named coach, but he officially wasn't in as coach yet. Um, what is? Hold on one second. I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna see if I can get a little something for y'all. No harm, no foul, right? Give me a second. Dun-dun-dun. All right, where's my little pen? Stand by. I'm good. Y'all give me a second. See if I can get some information for you. I'm good. Can y'all see this? No, y'all can't see that. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Hold on. Um. Okay. Sorry for that. Trying to get some information. Dwight says, please hire John Summerall. I haven't heard his name pop up a lot lately. He did just beat good old Silverfield. Oh, I got an off-topic question. What was Petrino like in the locker room after a big win? You saw videos with Pittman and his jukebox and Nut as well. I don't remember seeing. No, man, dude's business, man. He's like, hell yeah, good job today, man. Let's get back, watch film, get ready for the next one. That just wasn't his personality. He's not gonna get in there, start dancing and doing all that stuff with people. That's not how he rolls. Very strictly business, but he let us do our own thing. He let us celebrate, and so, but yeah, ain't no jukebox turning on with Coach P. Here we go. Jordan Matson in the house says if John Tyson is going to be giving a bunch of money to Franklin for NIL, then hire him. That honestly is all I care about. Hire a good coach that the boosters will give the money to. Here we go. Coach P just trying to. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way. Look who it is. Oh, this has been a big thing that's popped up. Chris Alley in the house. What's up, Chris? What are your thoughts on David Basil saying that at the Touchdown Club, this would have been Monday. Do you think the disconnect between the past and the present is a real issue? Are you going to get your trophies with him? I don't think it's a real issue as far as the program not doing well right now. I do think overall, you can't. Yeah, that's the only bad thing about like coaching turnover. I don't like coaches who come in and say, "Hey, we're going to start something fresh. Anything before this, it's just us. Outside of this locker room, no one else matters." I don't like that, man. I think here at the University of Arkansas, the way the program is now, the way it's so special for a lot of Razorback fans are because of one, the fans that grew up here, and two, the players and coaches that are part of building this program through bad years, through great years, through awful moments, through amazing moments. And yeah, I wish there was more of an open door policy, and I wish there was more information about former players. I mean, my guys reach out to me all the time. Hey, DJ, do you know if there's ways that we can maybe get a hookup on a ticket to the game. I'm like, you know how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into this program and how much money you help packed into these stands with fans wanting to come watch you play and people cheering you on, you being a part of so many big time memories. I feel like you should have at least somewhere to go to try to get a ticket to go watch your former team play. And I'll get to tell you exactly who it is. Now Davis, running back for Arkansas. Love Now Davis. Great, great running back. He reached out to me last week. He's trying to go to Austin for the Texas game. And he says, "Hey D, do you know if they hook up maybe some former players with how to maybe get some hands on maybe some tickets?" And he says, "I'll pay for them, but maybe there's like a discount or something we can get since we played ball there." I said, "I have no idea." Now, me personally, I feel like I have not been too far removed from the program just because I've been in the media side of things for so long. But yeah, I still don't even know where to start. And I know this popped up, and I will say this: Cal Parkinson, he is the sports information director for the football team. And he's done a great job. There was that big kind of debacle with Joe Adams and Jarius Wright last year that they just wanted to go in and say hi to Coach Petrino after the game, and they went down to the SEC or whatever level that is, and they were escorted out and they were asked to leave, and they were just like, we just wanted to say hi to our coach, and we can't even get down there, and they kind of kicked us out. And there was a big backlash from the fans, and I had them on the show, and they talked about what went down, and they carried it in such a good way. And I reached out to Cal Parkinson, and I had a conversation with him, saying, "Hey, I'm reaching out to these guys," and there were some people in the media who heard about that via social media post, and they posted it online, and it just blew up fire. I think that post was, and they were just kind of quoting what they saw on Facebook. Now, the way to handle that is to reach out to them first and figure out exactly what happened. And when I talked to Cal about it, he was pissed. And he was like, "We had no idea this was going on. I'm waking up to this. I don't know what happened. If these guys wanted to be a part of this, there's ways to go about it. If we would have known, we would have tried our best to accommodate and going about it the right way." And the thing is, I just don't know for these former players where it starts. I wish there was a little bit more clarity on that. It'd be nice if there was like a liaison for former players. And so David Basil's big thing was he feels like there's a big disconnect from the people who came through this program and did a lot for this program, because he was talking to Dean Weber, the late great Dean Weber, passed away. And he was telling Basil about a lot of those trophies that were won, a lot of those plaques that these guys won. They don't even put them up in the stadium. They're just sitting in a storage unit somewhere in Rogers. And Basil said, "I'm going to go get those." And then he says, "They don't like me too much up on the hill. Hunter Yurchek, whatever. Chancellor, I'm telling you right now, we're going to come get them. And that'll be my promise." And I was just like, "Damn, Baz, do your thing." But no, I think they're, God, I think that should always be a thing. And when I was getting recruited, one thing that Coach Nutt said that really was special to me, he says, "Once a Razorback, always a Razorback." And I don't think any former player should just call up somebody and say, "I need tickets for this game." There needs to be a little bit more organization than that. Maybe it's get on a list and you maybe get to pick one or two games where you can bring yourself and your family, and they'll put you in some good spots and give you. I wish there was a way that they could figure that out. And I don't know who the player liaison would be. Let me look right now. Former Arkansas Razorbacks, former player engagement, liaison, engagement. I don't know. Let's see what pops up. AI says University of Arkansas engages with its former players primarily through the A Club, an official organization operated under the Razorback Foundation. The A Club's mission is to foster a lasting relationship with former Razorback student athletes across all sports and provide a continued connection to the University of Arkansas and athletic programs. Key aspects of the engagement include membership benefits. Members receive benefits such as access to football tailgates and the ability to vote for Hall of Honor inductees. Support for current and former athletes. Okay, graduation support, membership structure. Other avenues of engagement: pro days. University hosts annual pro days, allow former football players to showcase their skills. Oh, that ain't me. Spirit program, young program. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. I'd be curious to ask those people who wanted to go back, are you members of the A Club or not? That could be a good place to start. Who knows? All right, here we go. Shock everybody and hire Steve Young. What time is it? I guess you've had a few drinks in right now. You could at least. Oh, was I taking too long while I was looking up something? Oh yeah, let me check this. Uh, whichever- who is this? Ah, I know who this is. Oh, I'm all right. So you know who you are. Who just texted me? Could that potentially switch things up? Okay, let me see this. That would be good. That's the thing too. Is like depending on who comes in, they instantly have to get down to recruiting. Has to be big. Um, I just got an interesting text message. Out of respect, I'm not gonna say it unless I can. I'll wait till you text me. If you text me that, that'd be really cool. If you say, go ahead and tell them what I said, that'd be great. All right. I think my people would really like to know that. Oh, John Matthews coming in with the super chat. I care most about our recent effort to acquire more funding. Yes, which it sounds like we have done or doing per biddy. We got to check that out. So whoever we hire, they will have the resources to win. I'll make sure this is the right person. Hold on. Hold on. But hold on. Oh no. Are you here? Hello? Are you by yourself? Sorry. Yeah. Nothing. Oh. Bird. All right, y'all. I'm about to have to wrap this up. Sorry. God, I got so much stuff I want to tell y'all. Sorry. Um, no, you're right, John Matthews. Like I said, you got to have the funds, got to have the resources. If they're bringing in that money, then I will listen to you. Here we go. But you think that's why Texas Tech has been able to lean on boosters and alumni because they feel like they are part of the program. I'll tell you this, Chris. Yes, but I will also say this. Um, if you're an alumni and you're a billionaire, I bet the university is going to make you feel as welcome as possible. That's exactly what they are over there at Texas Tech. I guarantee you, like, I played in the NFL, but I did not play long enough to sit down and relax and have that money that just works for myself, hence why I work so much right now. But I guarantee you, if I was a billionaire, the University of Arkansas would be treating me like a king. All right. I know what they want, and I get it. I understand. So I'm talking to someone right now and talking about the impact of coaching. All right. And let's just say this. Um, I would be almost positive, depending on who comes in, if they come in and have the approach of focusing on maybe who we have here in our own backyard. Let's just say, for instance, somebody like a Kane Archer, who we have talked about before. Really like this kid. I think he's as sharp as they come. I think he understands the game at an extremely high level, especially for the age that he is at. And I think the sky's the ceiling for this kid, you know, and him, along with a lot of these other recruits that I talk about on a constant basis. I've went out and they're all committed to go other places. I would not be shocked if whoever comes in. I think they would have a really good opportunity to flip a lot of those kids to keep them here in the state of Arkansas, and kind of bring. And these aren't just. I'm not just saying this because they're from here. I've had a chance to sit down and talk to all these guys, sit down, watch them play, watch their film. These are some big time players for sure. Look, somebody just commented to that. How did you hear that? Overlooking Arkansas players, man. I'm with you. It's just that's the thing too. We're talking about how does Arkansas really keep up, and I'm not doing this like Danny Bill. Seen him in person, seen him move, seen how like you can't coach that type of stuff. If you can, as far as like what he is given, what he's been God given, you got to keep those guys. Same thing with Evan Lee or Evan Goodwin over there at Bauxite. This kid that plays linebacker for Springdale, I think it's like Braxton or something like that. He's going to BYU, great player, big time athlete. Same thing with Kane Archer. I mean, I could just go down the list of all these Arkansas guys that if you were to have a really good developer and oh man, I think that's where I mean, yes, we need a good coach. We need a lot of money, but we have to tap into that, man. Give them the keys to the kingdom. Have to do it. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of people right now saying I would love to see Kane Archer. I said, man, I say out of all the people I talked to, man, and I talked to some good ones. Very impressed with Danny, Evan as well. But no, Kane, man, he's like when you talk to him, like me being a former player, I was just thinking, geez, man, I feel like I'm talking to my quarterback right now. I hope he does well wherever he goes. I would love it to be with a Razorback on the side of his helmet. I'm telling you, man. How about this? I said this all the time because you know me. If there was a position for me in the recruiting department of the University of Arkansas, I would definitely do it. I'm tempted to reach out to all my boys, right? Because you know, 4th and 5, we've been doing our part, building our relationships. All right, I want to be like, hey, yo, Kane, Evan, Danny, Anthony, like all these top players we've been talking to. I said, why don't y'all just tell them, man, we'll come up there if you bring DJ up there with us. All right, let's make it a package deal, all right? Because I promise you this, I'll make sure we take care of y'all up there. Better believe that. All right, y'all. I got to wrap this up. I got some stuff going on downstairs, and it's my neighbor's birthday, so I got to go ahead and celebrate with them a little bit as well. Thank y'all for hanging out. Like I said, this is one of my favorite things to do. Is just kind of sit down and talk, chop it up. So many things going on. I'm about tired of the coaching talk, and so I'll let all the other people who do all the other podcasts continue to kind of get in depth with that. If something pops up, we'll talk about it, okay? But outside of that, man, we're going to shift our focus to this LSU game. And I also am curious about this. So my big thing is how does 4th and 5 keep rolling when football season is done? Okay. There's a really good team right now up there at the University of Arkansas, and they're called the Razorback basketball team. All right. Would y'all be interested to see if we can dabble into a little bit of breaking down some of that? Now, I'll say this as I'm entertaining this idea, also need to go find the right person because the only reason I feel good about what we do on 4th and 5 is because I feel like we know what we're talking about when it comes to football. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you what is going on with basketball. I have no idea. Besides, this dude looks athletic. That dude can shoot pretty good on defense. And so I've been looking for a couple former players to see if they'd be interested in coming on with me so I can do all the editing and I can put up all the graphics. But I want them to teach us and show us and educate us what else is going on that the typical fan really doesn't watch for. And maybe you could explain to us why a team does well, maybe why a team does bad, what are we good at, and all these things. And so that's what I'm kind of working on. Just need to find the right person who can do all that. Like I said, if you're out there and maybe that's you or a former player, I'll do all the editing. I'll make all the graphics. I'll paint all the pictures. Okay. I just think that'd be really cool to kind of maybe tap into. Okay. So, outside of that, too, 4th and 5, as soon as football season is over as well, I am trying to see if I can link up with some of these guys for the Razorbacks that are going to be training for the NFL draft. You know, example, like somebody like a Carmona, you know, Mike Washington. I'd like for us to go out to where they're training for a week on at a time and kind of give you an idea of like what it actually is like when somebody prepares for the NFL draft, day-to-day type stuff. I would love to do that. And then also, too, we're going to dig a lot more into these recruits. I've been getting a lot of emails. I've been getting a lot of film. I've been getting a lot of suggestions about some of these top players in the state. And so we kind of want to go through a list and lineup of, because I can't get to them all. I would love to drive to every single one of those schools and watch them. So what we are attempting to do, if it works out and we get the right partners and sponsors in place to help us pull this off, I want to create an invite-only 4th and 5 showcase where if we can't go to them, I want to bring them all to us. But I don't want them to just show up and it just be some rinky-dink thing. I want to take care of these guys, you know. But I also want them to be prepared to work, and I would love for it to be a 2-day type thing because I want to see what they move like, what the athleticism is like. But I also want to sit down with them and talk to them, see what type of character they got. How do they watch film? What kind of mental level are we on as a football player? And I think that will really help us actually give some legit 4th and 5 ranking when it comes to some top prospects around the state. And I get I don't care if they're 5'10", 5'8", but if these dudes are football players, we're going to find them, okay? So that's another thing that we also want to get up and running. Dusty Hannas. I heard that name get popped up a lot, okay? I may have to reach out to him, see if he wants to talk a little bit. That could be a good one. I saw that one popped up. You know who I really want? Who I talk to quite often on the buzz. And maybe y'all can help me with this. Maybe we can push him a little bit. But I hang out with Joe Klein every Wednesday on the buzz. All right, I know Joe's busy. All right, but he live here in Little Rock, and we got a great relationship. All right, so y'all put that full court press on Joe Klein for me. All right, hit him up on Twitter. Slater Mojo is his Twitter handle, and be like, you need to get on with 4th and 5. You need to get on with 4th and 5. He just has a couple other endeavors that would have a little bit of a conflict with what we do here on 4th and 5. Hopefully we can get that worked out too. All right, y'all. Appreciate that. Keep on sending it. I know Marion's got some good players. ISO Joe, he does that stuff with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. I don't know if he wants to do it with me. Scotty Thurman would be awesome. If you have his contact, I would love to know. Keep sending in the